Okay, so we are continuing the presentation now. We would like to listen to Nicholas from Germany. Okay, continue.
So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Emanuel. My name is Nicholas Price. I'm also from the Goethe University from Frankfurt. And today we are going to explore a very familiar but important topic. What is an essay? We often hear this term in academic settings, but what does it really mean and why is it so essential in both educational and professional contexts? Let's dive into the structure, purpose, and types of essays to get a clearer picture. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you some general information and the purpose of an essay. After that, I'm going to tell you the types of essays and the basic essay structure. And lastly, we will talk about the elements of a good essay and tips for essay writing. So let's start with the general information. To start with, an essay is essentially a short piece of writing that focuses on a particular subject, and it's a form of expression, analysis, or argument. And essays serve as a medium to describe, explain, argue, or analyze a topic. They range from personal reflections to formal academic research, and an essay can be as simple as writing your thoughts or as complex as dissecting theories. But no matter the type, the goal is to communicate an idea clearly. Yes, essays can vary depending on the writer's purpose. Sometimes they are used to explain a concept, while other times they are written to pursue or argue a point of view. Yes. Now let's talk about the purpose of writing an essay. Why do we write them? There are several reasons. First, essays help to present a clear perspective on a topic. They are a tool to clarify ideas and provide a structured way to share them. Second, essays allow us to analyze and interpret information. Through this process, we develop a deeper understanding of the subject. Third, the essays give us the chance to argue a point of view and in doing so defend a thesis or position. And finally, they engage the reader in critical thinking. When done effectively, essays encourage readers to question, reflect, and explore new ideas. There are many types of essays, and each serves a different purpose. The first is the descriptive essay. This type of essay is used to paint a picture with words. It focuses on describing a subject in detail. Next, we have the expository essay. This type is more about explaining or informing. It provides facts and explanation about a topic without giving the writer's opinion. Then, thirdly, there's the argumentative essay. In this essay, the writer takes a stance on an issue and provides reasons and evidence to support their point of view, convincing the reader to agree. And finally, there's a narrative essay. This type of essay tells a story, and it often focuses on personal experiences with a plot, characters, and setting, just like in fiction. Okay, now let's look at how essays are structured. Regardless of the type, most essays follow a similar structure. First, you have the small introduction. This is where the topic is presented and the thesis statement is introduced. The thesis is your central argument, the idea that entire essay will focus on. Next are the body paragraphs. This is where the argument or analysis takes place, and each paragraph should develop a specific point or idea supported by evidence or examples. And finally, we have the small conclusion of our essay. And yeah, the conclusion summarizes the key points and reinforces the thesis. And it's important to leave the readers the reader with a sense of closure and understanding at the topic. So, what makes an essay good? There are a few key elements to keep in mind. First, a clear thesis is crucial. It gives you your essay a focus and a direction, and without it, your writing can feel very aimless. Second, coherence and flow. So your essay should progress logically from one point to the next with smooth transitions between the paragraphs, as Chris said before in his presentation. The third point is evidence and support. So you need to back up your claims with facts, examples, or citations from reliable sources. And yes, finally, the fourth point, the last point, is you need a strong conclusion. So your closing should not just summarize the essay, but reinforces the thesis, leaving a lasting impression on the reader. To wrap up the essay presentation, let's go over for some practical tips for writing an effective essay. First, I have three tips for you. First of all, it's very essential to plan before writing. So you have to outline your ideas in the essay. You have to outline your ideas, and that helps you to stay organized and to stay focused. Also ensure smooth transitions. So the transitions are really useful. And yes, last one is don't forget to proofread for any errors. So this final step is key to making a good impression on your reader, and you can also ask someone else to proofread it. So yes, that was my presentation. In conclusion, essays are more than just a writing assignment. They are a powerful tool for expressing ideas, analyzing topics, and persuading readers. And by understanding the structure, purpose, and types of essays, you can become a more effective and confident writer. Thank you for your attention. If we have questions, you can ask them.
Okay, so can you go back from the beginning so that we start our questions from there? General information. An essay is a short piece of writing that describes, clarifies, argues, or analyzes a particular subject. Essays can consist of a number of elements, including literary criticism, observations, and reflections of an author. An essay includes 5 or more paragraphs and has 500 to 600 words. Okay, now may I ask, is it every essay that has 500 to 600 words?
No, it is not every essay, but the common essay has like 500 to 600 words.
That is meaning primary school or secondary school essay, right?
I think it's like everywhere.
But what if you are writing a thesis, because thesis is a form of an essay?
Yeah, then we have some more words.
So that is why
it always depends on what we are going to write. If we write a small report or something, then we have like 500 to 600 words, but it can be so much more words.
Very good. So it should be more paragraphs and has 500 and 600 words or more, depending on the type of the essay.
Yes, depending on the type.
Okay, now you said an essay describes, clarifies, argues, or analyzes. What do you mean by that?
Yes, so we have the 4 points. We have, as Chris said before, small paragraphs in our essay, and each paragraph does one thing, like describing something or clarify something or arguing about something and analyzing something. And all of our 4 points like these, all of our paragraphs lead to one big essay and lead to one one big essay in conclusion. This is then what I meant.
Okay. So, Chris, what do you have to ask about an essay?
Yes, I have a question about, like, you've mentioned different parts of an essay. I think there was like a body part and an introduction part. Can you maybe go to this slide, please, with the different
yes,
parts?
yeah, this.
Yes,
You mean
this
slide,
one.
yes, right.
So I wanted to ask if you can clarify which different part of an essay, how many paragraphs should I write at least for each different structure? Yes. Can you clarify this?
Also for one essay, you need at least 5 paragraphs. So you need 1 paragraph for the introduction, 3 paragraphs for the main part, so for the body paragraph, where you have positive, negative arguments, and then you have also at least one. You have one paragraph in your conclusion. So all in all, you have like 5 paragraphs.
Then again, does it apply in a bigger form of essay? Your explanation, does it apply in a bigger form of essay?
Yeah, when you
like
have a bigger
thesis,
bigger form of essay, then you have much more.
exactly, because that's what I want
Yes.
you to clarify.
Is it-
Because
at
in a
least-
bigger
at
form
least.
of essay like thesis, introductory part
Yes.
might take about 3 pages or 4 pages or 5 pages.
Yes.
Then the body could be chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Then chapter 5 could be conclusion. So in that kind of essay, which is often tagged as thesis, dissertation, or project, in our school here, we use independent studies. It means that it will follow this structure, but in a very elaborate way or manner or system.
Yes.
So, but then the example you are giving currently is about a short form of essay, like a classroom kind of assignment. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So, Sebastian, do you have anything for him about essay?
Yes, of course. As we spoke about the structure, what do you think is the most important part of the essay? So, is it the introduction, the body, or the conclusion?
Okay. I think first of all, the most important part is that you have a very good introduction. So if you don't have an interesting introduction, your reader won't focus on your essay and it won't be interesting for him and he won't read your essay if you have a boring introduction. So I think first of all, a good introduction is very, very important, but also the body paragraph has to be also is very has to be, you know, yes, has to be
Very detailed.
Yeah, very detailed.
Yeah.
And but the conclusion is not that hard, I think. But so main points are introduction and body paragraph, I think.
Okay, yes, understood that.
Okay, so
Important, yes.
we are somewhere, and we started from the beginning. Can we go back to the slide?
Of course.
Yes. Okay. The next slide, because this is general information, which is very nice. The next slide. The next.
Next slide. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Purpose of an essay: to present a clear perspective on a topic, to analyze and interpret information, to argue a point of view, to defend a thesis, to engage the reader in critical thinking. What do you mean by critical thinking?
What do I mean with critical thinking?
Yeah, as the purpose of an essay. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, if you have a political statement or something like this, and you have another opinion than this, and then I write an essay about my opinion and put all arguments against the other side, and yeah, I have a very strict opinion. Yeah, and I put a very strict opinion into my essay, so that the reader knows clearly my point of view.
Okay, now to think. Okay, yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Yes, I have another question to this slide. And the purpose of an essay, I wanted to ask you if an essay is always like really scientific, or can the writer also write like a fictional story, or does it have to be always like scientific and backed up with facts and arguments?
I think if you want to have a good essay, if you want the readers, if you want the reader to read your essay fully, then you need arguments to provide your arguments. You know what I mean? So you need good arguments, yes, to clarify your position.
Okay, now back to the critical thinking. I'm still interested in knowing what you mean by critical thinking. Chris, what do you have to say about critical thinking? You said engage the reader in critical thinking. What's your understanding of that?
Yes.
As the purpose of an essay.
Like critical thinking is like really important for every essay, I guess, because like if there's a standard view of some topic, or like a standard opinion that it's like widely spread within the like population, you should, as a writer, always like engage the reader to maybe rethink the opinion, or to think more wider than the like standard opinion, and maybe like come up with arguments or facts yourself, like that you like maybe go into deeply research for this topic and like extend your knowledge in this topic, so you like can build your own opinion on something. Like don't just adapt the others opinion. Like you have to build your own opinion, and don't just like adapt what other people say.
Okay, wonderful. That's one of the points. What do you think? Engaging the reader in critical thinking. What does that mean from your own perspective?
Okay. I think Chris said it very good. The only thing I want to add is, so if anybody has an opinion, and you hear that opinion of him, and you think by yourself, oh, I'm not agreeing with his opinion. I don't like his opinion. I think that is considered critical thinking. So you think about the things that others say. So I think that is considered
So I
critical
would
thinking.
like to hear from you guys. What is critical thinking? What does it mean? Critical thinking. Do you have any opinion about that? What is critical thinking?
I think critical thinking is when you go very deep into argument. So you have like one argument, and then you put 3 positive things, 3 negative things about this argument. So you go very deep into the thematic. I think this is critical thinking.
Okay, what Christopher? Critical thinking.
Yeah, like critical thinking, it's like when you think about some topic, mostly fact based or argument based, and like you have to think about something, some opinion, like without being biased by other people's opinion, or without getting hooked by other people's opinion. So you just have to build your own opinion with facts and arguments.
Okay. Sebastian,
Yes.
critical thinking. What does that mean?
Okay. If I read anything and I'm not agreeing with it, I'm able to judge about it. So I think the possibility to judge like things that are said is critical thinking. So nobody has the same opinion. Everybody is able to give his own opinion to an argument or something.
Okay. Back to what we're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I also think like critical thinking is a really important step in like our generation, because like if you look back in history, critical thinking wasn't expected, or sometimes not even allowed. You just have to adapt what like maybe a leader or someone says. And now in our generation, like a professor than you engages us to do critical thinking. Even asking us what is critical thinking for you, I think this engages us to think more critical about the world and about other people's opinion.
Wonderful. Okay, now you see the student is gone. Okay, now do you know why? What do you think?
Because you were too critical to him.
What do you know why he left?
Yeah, I think he was a little bit shy, and then he was humiliated because you like very insisted on him to
Pay attention.
get a sense of what a paragraph in an essay is.
Do you know? You have anything to say?
I don't know exactly why he left. Maybe he has some other important things to do, or like maybe he already knows everything we discussed. I don't know. Yeah, or maybe
He
he.
couldn't know what is paragraph.
Yes, maybe maybe he will rewatch the videos, and then he will get to know.
Okay, now I just want to use that practical experience. What if the person left because he was challenged to learn? Remember, he was here and was playing on the phone. If you are looking at him, because I'm a teacher that looks at around and then observes my students. So he was busy playing on his Facebook. Okay, now, if you tell, for example, what if we are imagining, it's not this is the real situation, but imagine if he left because he was being challenged by a teacher to pay attention. And then such a person is asked to write an essay about a teacher, and then he describes a teacher like me as a bad teacher. Why? Because he was being challenged to pay attention in the class. And then he writes an essay and submits to you. How would you look at that essay in context of critical thinking? Anybody? Do you get the scenario?
Yeah.
How would you look at the essay? Imagine it's an imaginary category. How would you look at the essay in terms of critical thinking? Because he said the purpose of an essay, number one, to present a clear perspective on a topic. Imagine that this is about a good teacher. Okay, now to analyze and interpret information. He's trying to analyze and interpret information about a good teacher, right? Then to argue a point of view to defend the thesis. Then, most importantly, to engage the reader in a critical thinking. So this kind of scenario, imagine that he felt challenged because the teacher would like him to pay attention in the class. What if he writes an essay viewing that kind of a teacher as not good one? So, and such an essay is presented to you. How would you look at it critically? Okay.
Yeah, I think in terms of critical thinking, this term is not fulfilled then. So he, as a student, like was not able to get a grasp of his actions. So he just wrote an essay and complains about the teacher, but he didn't get his actions after his behavior. So he doesn't understand in which way he misbehaves. He only complains about why he is feeling like not being treated equal.
What if that is the situation in developing countries? Does it have any effect on the why a country is poor, and why a country doesn't move forward, and why a country is not developed? Because people are not challenged, and probably students are allowed to be lazy, and students are allowed to come to class. If it's 9 a.m., they will be here at 10 a.m. And probably the lecturers or teachers don't challenge them because they are scared of the student or even scared of being sacked or doing something correct. How would you look at it critically?
Yeah, I think you described a much bigger section now.
Exactly. In the context of critical
Yes,
thinking.
it's a much bigger context, but I think you can apply like the behavior of different kinds of peoples from different people to like the whole population. So we could transfer some characteral behaviors from like one people or one resident to the whole population of a country. So there can be like I don't know how to say that, but there can be like some behaviors transferred from one person to the whole population.
Yeah, but remember that when we started the class, when we were talking about paragraph, we were talking about something. And
Yeah.
in that thing, we tried to understand why some German students are very early.
Yeah.
Why do they come to class very early? Why, if the class is 9 a.m., they're here by 9:40,
Yeah.
8:40?
Yeah.
And why most Asian students or other African students, the majority of the students from there, they come late. And then I forgot who said something. It's related to the kind of behavioral pattern,
Cultural behavior. It's how you grew up,
exactly.
how your parents grew you up.
Exactly. And then it's being translated into
Yes.
the way you behave in
in adulthood.
stage. So the same thing applicable. Couldn't we apply the same thing here? Why someone within the class chatting on Facebook,
Yeah.
first of all, not paying attention, needing to learn, participate, and then claim to have that subject for the semester, and then walked into the class doing nothing,
Well,
only to be checking the Facebook.
Yeah.
And if you apply, possibly, if you apply that to the particular population, it could also lead to the reason why.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
possible
of
reason
course.
why, because we will still be the leader tomorrow.
Yeah.
You will be the leader tomorrow. He will be the leader tomorrow. I will be the leader tomorrow. How would I now begin to be perfect as a leader? But the process that led me to a particular position started because there's no background, there's no foundation. Could it be part of the reason why some countries and some places are better than others?
Of course. I think we do not know how his parents raised him. So there are some cultural differences, but we do not know where he comes from. So I think it's difficult to understand his behavior. But there can be like some behavioral things transferred from him to his to the particular population.
But the correct, but actually, critically speaking, the behavior exhibited is not the correct behavior.
Yes.
Because the person supposed to pay attention.
Yes.
And supposed to not to deceive his parents.
Yes.
Who pay the school fees to absent him to study.
Yes.
And he's here not paying attention to the study. I mean, that is we have a common ground there, critically.
Yeah.
But I just don't forget we are leading and engaging the reader in critical thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think Christopher has something.
Yes, I have something to add. To come back to your first question, how critical thinking links to developing countries or to the process of a developing country to moving forward, I think it's really important, because if you as a teacher teach us students how to think critical and to ask for facts and arguments, it's really important for a country to move forward, because if you don't think critical, you will always stand on the same point. Critical thinking, critical thinking is the key to innovation. If you don't think critical, you won't innovate new things, and innovation is key for a country to move forward. So it's really important for you as a teacher and for essays to engage the critical thinking, so that the leaders from tomorrow can come up with new innovation and don't get stuck on one opinion or one fact. Maybe there are so many more facts, but you just have to explore them.
Yeah. So now you have answered the first part of it. What about the where do we apply critical thinking? If a student like this writes an essay about a teacher, and probably the concept of a teacher for him is one that would allow him to be messing up in the class without paying attention, and that is what a good teacher is for him. But a bad teacher is one that challenges him to learn. How would you identify critical thinking in that kind of an essay?
Yes, I think like critical thinking is in this case more of like your role as a teacher, because when you read the essay of the like student who describes like a good teacher in the wrong way, you start to think critical and like ask yourself maybe, okay, why is he writing this? And you as the like reader now try to explore like the reasons why the essay is written in that way. So it also engages critical thinking, but not in the right way.
Wonderful. Do you have anything to add to that?
I don't have anything.
Okay, so why I'm asking this is because you made mention of that. Because remember, he said here, purpose of an essay is to engage the reader in critical thinking, because you cannot consume anything. Remember, in your own paragraph, you made mention of evidence. Because if somebody is writing an essay, he needs to tell us. If you say a good teacher is very hardworking, show us, let's see. What is the evidence? That is why I want to bring in your knowledge about evidence. That is why evidence is called upon. You have to support your idea. Because if your idea, as you said, and I'm marking the essay, and the idea is because the teacher walked me out, and you didn't tell me why the teacher walked you out, maybe I will remove some points. Because maybe the teacher walked you out of the class because you are a nuisance to the class, you are causing trouble to the class. Or maybe the teacher scolded you in the class, maybe because you're not paying attention, you don't want to learn, you are doing something else. And it's the duty of the teacher to be a teacher by letting you do the correct thing. You know, education, they say from educare, meaning to sieve out something in the light of what? To get out something out of you, out of me. Presumably ignorance, what you don't know. So what's the essence of being in the classroom if the students are not allowed to be engaged, to be active in the class, to participate in the class, to share their ideas, or some students will be there watching on their WhatsApp and then chatting with their friends. I'm like, oh, come on. But you just left your home to come to the classroom, and then instead of participating in the class, then you're not being part of the class. And when a teacher tries to correct you, then you may tend to think is not a good one. So that is what I'm trying to link us, to direct us to what our professor here presented right now. Engaging the reader in critical thinking. That's what I want you to understand, what that means. An essay will engage the reader in critical thinking by providing the reason why this person acted this way, and reason why it's the duty of the teacher to ask him questions. Remember, when the question was asked, he couldn't answer it, even when examples were given, even when you all have contributed to the answer, he could not still get it. And that is why it's the duty of the teacher to do. But luckily, because of that, I don't know why, as we said, I don't know what is the reason, because I divided the class into level 1, level 2. So they are in level 2, but he didn't attend 2 classes already. He did not know that today is not for him. Yeah, so maybe that's now I haven't come and then found out that maybe his level is it might be the reason why he decided to leave, because of his level. But I just wanted to use it for us to understand, to support our presenter who said essay engages the reader in critical thinking. Is that okay? Okay, so the next slide, types of essay, just like an argument, just like a paragraph we said the other time.
It's the same.
Descriptive, yeah, some essay is just to describe. Some essay is just some essays are just to expository, explain or inform about the topic. You can write an essay that is very argumentative. Christopher said this. You have to let us what he said. You have to let us his point of view. And then Sebastian said this. We need to know his point of view, what he said. Then, what's your name? I forgot.
Nicholas.
Nicholas said this. Well, you have to tell us what Nicholas said. At the same time, maybe you have to combine the positive, the dissenting view of Christopher from Sebastian, and dissenting view of Sebastian from Nicholas, and where they all join together. You have to marshal it out in your essay, argumentatively, persuasively. So narrative essay tells a story of Shyamai's journey. You have gone to Chiang Mai, right?
Yes.
And then you may have encountered someone, so you have to tell a story. Maybe when you go back to Frankfurt, right? All of you are from Frankfurt.
Yes.
Maybe when you go back, you have to narrate your story about going to Phuket or going to Chiang Mai. That's why I've always allowed you to move around, because the main essence of learning here might not necessarily mean in the classroom you are used to, because you arrived in a different culture, a different environment. So you have to explore and make sure that you don't go home empty. You have to just get that societal aspect of that a place you have come in. So that's why, if you recall, I've always allowed you to be a little bit free, and then probably narrate the story for us. That is in the other class. I think it's in human capital for those of you doing it. But this one is just English. Yeah.
I think we are going to tell a lot of narrative stories when we come back.
Yeah, exactly. So narrative. So that is the story. The narrative essay will let you know the story of the entire experience. For example, I will tell the story of how I went to Munich. Yeah, when I stopped in Munich, as a person, I felt a policeman. Is this a police? I don't know what you call it. The police,
Yes.
a Munich. When our plane stopped, and we were just entering inside the city, and then I was stopped. And then I was wondering why he should stop me. And I was the only black guy there. So I was wondering why, what offense have I committed? But then when he asked for my passport, I gave my passport. And after giving my passport, he said, okay. Then I came back to him. So please, can you just tell me why I'm the only one you thank God that had stopped and checked? Then he told me he was looking for somebody, and then said, am I the person you're looking for? So actually, that was my first experience. Then I tried to ask from the airport staff, because I wanted to make a complaint. Yeah, and I even called a brother who told, no, they will not listen to you. No, they will support the police. The government will never listen to you. I said, I don't want to care whether they live, but I want to make my own complaint that I'm a human being, and I should be treated like, not be discriminated in this way, because I wouldn't understand why. Even myself, that was the first time I found myself in a plane. I'm the only black. Only black. And when we embarked, when we stopped, then I still noticed the same kind of discriminatory kind of attitude towards me. So if you tell me to my story, my first experience in Munich airport, that is something that rings to my mind. And I believe most of you will experience one thing or the other in Thailand right now. So that is narrative.
I have another question. The narrative story. Do I need it to back up with facts? Narrative essay?
Every essay should be backed up with facts. But the narrative, sometimes, depending on the kind of narrative, just look at what I'm saying now.
Yes.
The facts I'm backing it up is because I stopped, and that I know the date, and I know the airplane, what do you call it? Airline ticket. I mean, the
Boarding pass.
yeah, I have my boarding pass. I kept it here. I don't know. I think it's here. And I also have which other fact that I had the date, the particular date it happened, the time it happened. Understand? And I also have my stamp when I was stamping.
Visa.
Yeah. You see? So when you are narrating, you are giving your narration, there should be an evidence but that kind of evidence is because it's a story. The story must be backed up with the fact that you were there alive, just like you have gone to Chiang Mai, and sometimes you took some pictures, right? Because as soon as that the event I said now happened, I took a picture of the particular spot and the particular time and the particular place. So these are the things that you can, because it's just a story, and that story is coming from you because it's a personal experience. You see, so that is why as you travel to Phuket, I travel to Pattaya, I travel to everywhere. Of course, I wouldn't be the one to tell you. Evidence is very important. Your phone is very important. Once you see certain situations. You have to make sure that you get them documented because you may not have the language to understand. You may not have the language to understand the situation you may have found yourself. And sometimes you may befriend someone, probably you met a wrong person, and the person might put you in trouble. It also happens. And then when you get back, then you narrate your story. So that is narrative essay, kind of. Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. This is wonderful. Then again, of course, Christopher asked a question that you were able to explain using this basic structure. Of course, every essay must have an introductory part, depending on the type of essay. The introductory part could be about 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, or even more, depending on the nature of the essay. That is a fact. Then the body depends on also the nature, the kind and the type of essay we are talking about. If it's a larger one, the body might even take almost 50 pages. If it's a kind of dissertation or report, it might even take 100 pages in the body, explaining different sectors, segments, and then events and the situations. Then even conclusion might even take even more, depending conclusion and discussion. So that is why I want us to also understand that we have a format, but that format is you apply it depending on the type of the essay or the kind. Is that clear? Okay, so the next slide would be elements of a good essay. Correct. Well put. You did wonderful here.
Thank you.
Clear thesis, clear central argument, or main idea. Number one, clear thesis. Of course. Can somebody tell us what that means and clear thesis or argument or main idea as elements of a good essay?
I think, first of all, in a good essay, there is the thesis. And as a reader, if you start to read an essay, the first thing you read is the thesis. So the thesis has to be like very understandable and very precise and very detailed so that everyone can get it and get a grasp of what the whole essay is all about.
Correct. Clear central argument. Clear thesis. You want to write about Frankfurt City, or you want to write about your university. What's the name of that university?
Goethe University.
Goethe.
Goethe.
Goethe Morgen. But you say Goethe Morgen, right?
Yeah, it's not Gute Morgen, but it's
Goethe
called
Morgen.
Goethe. Goethe.
Okay, this was Goethe.
A little bit different.
A little bit different, but
Yeah. Bison. What was I there? Say Bison. Is it Bison?
bisschen.
The train station that I stopped in
Okay.
Gießen.
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 Gießen, okay.
Gießen, yeah.
Actually, I enjoyed Frankfurt when I was there actually. Okay, so the element of a good essay, first of all, number one, perfectly put. There should be a clear thesis. What are you talking about? What actually is your main point? What point are you arguing about? Very, very important. That is the topic. And then even that topic, how you are going to marshal it out should be cleared, should be clarified. Then again, he made a very nice point here. He said coherency, flow, logical progression of ideas. Christopher, can you explain this number two for us? Number one is already taken care of. Very nice point. Then number two, coherency.
Yes, I think it's really important to have a good flow in an essay and to present every argument or every idea inside the essay in a logical way, so you get a structure or an order in the essay. Because if you like present every idea or every fact in like a random order or in a random way, the reader won't be able to understand like the point you're trying to make. But if you like build up an argument step by step, the reader will be able to understand your position much better.
Coherency. to be flowing. One point leads to another. One point gets to another. One point introduces the another. One paragraph introduces the next paragraph. It's not just writing randomly. I woke up in the morning, you talk about the morning hour. Then you talk about afternoon, talk about night. You see, one leads to other. Logically, you cannot talk about afternoon and talk in the morning and then go back to night. No, you are starting from the day from the morning, then the afternoon, and then the evening, and then night. That is logical, a logical progression of ideas. Is that clear? I think Sebastian, you have something to say about logical progression of ideas.
Yes. If you think of the reader who reads an essay, the reader should always recognize the same structure throughout the whole essay. So there's always the argument, then the explanation, and then the link to the next argument, and so on. And it's always the same structure, and the reader should recognize it to understand the essay a little bit better.
Very good. So first of all, you made it well. Oh my God, you should be a professor. This is wonderful. The way you say that clear thesis, central argument, main idea. That is the topic. Then again, elements of a good essay should also have coherency, flow of logical progression of ideas. Then let's get to number third. The third one, evidence, support, use of facts, examples, and sources. Can you explain that to us, Nicholas?
Yes, if you want to have a good essay, you need good arguments to your thesis. So if you don't have if you don't use clear facts from real sources, you cannot make a good essay, because you need those facts to make your opinion clearer and to let the reader know that it is not your own opinion, it's the opinion from someone else, or it's fact, and because of that it's very important to use those things in your essay.
Okay. Can you explain? You use the word clear facts. What do you mean by clear facts?
That you use them, you use those facts from, you do good research from good sources, and then you use those facts from the sources in your essay. That's
Okay,
what I mean.
wonderful, wonderful. Christopher, do you have anything to add about this evidence and support in relation to elements of a good essay?
Nothing to add. If you watch the video about the paragraphs, you will already get like a grasp how important facts and evidence are for an essay and for paragraphs in general. So I think we can move on to the next point, which is also very important. So I give it back to you, Professor.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because actually, your presentation about paragraph was wonderful. I thank God that I gave you guys this part of because I'm sure most Thai students will make use of it. I'm sure most Asian students will make use of it also, because you guys, for me, did a thorough work, and because you came up with points that are needed. Even better, I could have done that, and that is a kind of a plus for your own presentation. Almost two of you that have done it. We are waiting for Sebastian to see his own bullet. Okay, so now the strong conclusion, perfect. Strong conclusion, effective closing that reinforces the thesis. If you introduce with a clear thesis, you have to conclude it with a effective conclusion. So that's very understandable. Thank you very much, Nicola. So next point there is a tip for essay writing. Yeah, perfect. Plan before writing. You see that? Outline your ideas. Of course, the worst thing you can do is to go into writing without planning. Thank you very much for making 3 tips. Very, very important. Plan before writing. Outline your ideas. You know why I'm rereading? I'm just repeating this because your European accent and my own accent, many people will watch the video, so that they will get it from your point of view of an European presenter and from point of view of an African accent as well. So that's why I'm trying to, so that the readers will benefit in both sides, whichever one they want. Okay, now tips for essay writing. Wonderful. So the plan before writing, outline your ideas. You see that? Then transitions, ensure smooth transitions between paragraphs. Wonderful. Oh my God. This is great. And then proofread. Let other person proofread your essay. Please, I need you guys to explain this in detail. Who will give me the clue? Yeah, just from planning, these three tips, just explain it in your own terms.
Okay. So plan before writing. You should always have like sort of structure in your mind before beginning to write, or before beginning writing your essay. So there should be some sort of structure in your mind before you start. Transitions. I said it before. I think it's very important to have like, firstly, the overall structure, and then second, the links between different arguments. One argument should always lead to the other. And the last point with the proofread, yeah, I think it's before the submission. I think it's always important that like two other eyes look over your paper and try to find the last mistakes which are made.
Christopher, do you have anything to say about these tips
Yes,
for essay writing?
I would say they are all very important, and Sebastian mentioned, I think, every point. But I wanted to add to proofread. As you said, Professor, it's really important first to find grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes,
Very good.
and also to find logic mistakes. Because when you are reading your own essay, you often oversee some errors or some mistakes you made, and if another person that doesn't know your opinion before reads your essay, they can like tell you after reading it if it's like logical and if the structure is good to understand your point of view. And I want to give the students some tip. If you don't have anyone to proofread for like grammar or spelling, there are some softwares integrated in Microsoft Word. They will proofread it for you, but it will be also better if another person would read it again.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Nicholas, do you have anything to say about these three tips?
I think they explained it very well, Chris and Sebastian. So I don't have nothing to add.
Okay. Okay, thank you very
Very
much. So
good.
we move on to, moving on is thank you. Reed, do you have any questions? Okay, questions from Sebastian. Asking question. The topic is about essay. Wow, we missed this one.
Which one?
This particular one. This slide.
That is what it's the agenda.
This agenda.
Is the
It's
agenda?
yeah, agenda.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, very good. Okay, now, so look at the agenda and then ask your question. That is content.
Yeah, to sum things up, what do you think is the most important tip to consider when writing an essay? So what is the most important thing,
Oh, yeah.
first thing I should think of when I try to write an essay?
Yes. I go to the slide with the tips. I think really the most important things is to plan before writing. So my first tip, because if you start without thinking before, then you will this will lead to nothing, and you have to start it again and again and again, and you won't get a good essay with this method. So first of all, you have to think about, okay, which topic do I use? which arguments do I want to use? What do I think about this topic? Which sources do I want to use? How many positive things about my topic do I want to use? How many negative things? And if you have your full plan and if you have your full arguments, then you can start to write your introduction and your full essay. I think this is the most important thing, because if you don't have a real plan, it's like always. If you don't have a good plan, you won't get a good essay. In conclusion.
Wow.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, Christopher, look at our.
I would, for the tips, I want to ask some.
Oh, the same.
Yes,
Okay.
same tips. So, when planning an essay, Nico, would you recommend for me to read literature before I'm writing the essay? And do I need to write the plan down? Is it important to write the plan down?
First of
Very
all,
good.
so you asked if it's important to read literature. So first of all, I think you have to make your own opinion about your topic. So first of all, make your own opinion, and after that, you can read a report or something like this, like you said. And if you read it, you can overthink your own opinion and say, "Oh, okay, they were good arguments," or "Oh no, I didn't like the arguments." And yes, so I think you have to read reports. And what was the other question? I forgot it.
Literature.
To write it down. Yes, you said it. If it's important to write the things down, it's really important to write the things down, because if you don't write your plan down, you could forget something, and yeah, that would be not good.
So you mentioned of literature review, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about literature review? Is it important according to the tips? The literature review.
Yes.
Is it important in the among the? I mean, should it be included in the tips for essay writing?
Literature.
Literature review.
So if you read
Literature review, to read a book before and understand the topic you're about to write, probably going to the library to search for sources.
yeah,
It's so
it's
that's
good for your sources.
that's what I think is asking. Is it important? Is it part of the tips? Should
Yeah.
it be part of the tips?
Yeah, it's not really part of my tip, but it's a very good point to read other opinions and to have good sources in your essay, to use arguments for your essay and your paragraphs.
Very good.
So it's very good point from Christoph. I think it's very important.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understood that to be outline your ideas. I noticed it could be part of the plan before writing. And one of the things you should plan should be to set up and then look at the books of the topics you are writing and search for information online. And then in order to gather the facts that you will need, the materials that you will need to proceed. So that is my understanding of the planning before writing. So this is it has been a very nice time and moment. Any other question? So looking at, did you introduce your name? I didn't see your name. Okay, Nicholas. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Nicholas did his own presentation from, the topic is what is an essay, and then understanding the structure and purpose of an essay. Nicholas, we're from Germany and Frankfurt.
Yes. I'm from Frankfurt, also from the Goethe University.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Danke fürs Zuhören. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so he presented this topic and then made it very clear, general information about his topic and the purpose of an essay, types of an essay, basic essay structure, elements of a good essay, and then tips for essay writing. And I must say that he did marvelously very well. And the questions asked by other German students here, by name Sebastian and Christopher, those questions were very helpful in making sure that the topics were properly assimilated. So do you have anything to say as a final statement, Mr. Nicholas?
So yeah, thank you for listening. Was a pleasure for me, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll see again. Are you also doing class tomorrow?
Yes, we are also attending a class
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay, so thank you
So,
very much. Thank you
thank
very
you very
much. See
much.
you. Yeah.